Good morning to everyone. Nice to be here and to share the Sabbath day with you in Buffalo and have a chance to speak to you with the sermonette as well as the sermon. I hope you will recognize that the two are connected. Confusion exists as to what a soul is. What is the soul? Because in our society we tend to use the word soul, which comes, the understanding of that word comes primarily from pagan roots. And so we think of the soul as being the immortal soul. And we take that understanding into whatever we read in the scriptures in the Bible. But is the Bible an immortal soul? And what does the Bible have to say about the soul? We have a booklet in that regard, Heaven, Hell, and the Immortal Soul. All right, maybe the booklet name it, maybe I'm going back to the worldwide days, Heaven, Hell, and the Immortal Soul. But Heaven and Hell, there's a booklet about that. And we address that matter in the booklet. Question is, are you, I could ask one of our young people, or one of the really young people like Hazel, are you an immortal soul? What does the Bible mean when the word soul is used? Well, it's like many of the words in the Bible. It's a word that is translated from various other words, and sometimes some of the meaning is lost in the translation. So to really understand what the word soul means, we need to look at some of the original words from which the word soul comes. We would say even today that in the religious world, those people who seemingly specialize in knowledge about the Bible, there's a lack of understanding about what the soul really is. So what I want to do is to answer some questions, not all questions, but answer some questions in regard to the meaning of the word soul. Here is a verse of Scripture which I will use to reference, partly to help you to see contrasts between the words in the Bible that are translated into the word soul, and partly because I'm going to use this verse of Scripture in the sermon as well. So the particular meaning of the word soul in this verse of Scripture becomes something that will be relevant. I hope you'll find it's relevant in the sermon today. Here's the verse of Scripture. Luke 21, verse 19. In your patience possess you your souls. Very short verse of Scripture. In your patience possess you your souls. Can you possess your soul? And we will be talking about the subject of the sermon is going to be patience. But in your patience, it says, you possess your soul. Context of the Scripture, Luke 21, verse 19, it's the Olivet prophecy. Now, when we think about the Olivet prophecy, we usually go to Matthew 24. I don't remember, and I didn't research it. I don't remember this particular verse of Scripture being a part of Matthew 24, but they're both about the Olivet prophecy. Mark as well has in his gospel scriptures about the Olivet prophecy. It's a very important prophecy. And here Christ is saying that in patience we possess our souls. And so the question about souls becomes relevant in this particular verse of Scripture. So what I'm doing here is defining the word soul, in particular in relationship to this verse of Scripture, but the word soul in general may be having an entirely different meaning at other places in the Bible. Here's what Strong's Concordance has to say about this word. It is the word pushe, P-U-S-C-H-E, pronounced P-S-O-O, two O's, P-S-O-O dash K-H-A-Y, pushke. It is from Greek word, that is from the Greek and word number. Strong's has all of the words in Greek that are used in the Bible numbered. This is number 5,594, G5594. I'm sure you found that very interesting. But I'm bringing that out because the word soul also may be translated from two other Greek words. So there are three different Greek words in the Bible which are translated in the text into the word soul. Pushke means breath. It's kind of like pneumatics. It's related probably to the word pneumatics. I didn't look at the etymology of the word either, but that's pneumatics, right? We see pneumatics in our automobiles. We inflate the tires. The air that goes into the tires puts pressure in there. And as we see in one of the other verses of Scripture, it says, all Scripture is given by inspiration, pushke, or respiration, comes breathed from the nostrils of God. It's the air that your body uses and expel. That's what kind of the root is being said here. In your patience possess you your breath of life. The breath of life. When you lose the breath of life, you will be ready for the pine box. It isn't so far in front of me as it used to be, I'm confident. But that's what it means. In your patience possess you your physical life. That's what this word means. Now, I promise to give you some other words which also have to do, which have been translated into the word soul. These other two words are really quite different than the word that is translated soul here in Luke chapter 21 and verse 19. Breath of life, or the life that you have, the physical life that you experience. All of us lose that physical life sooner or later. It's just the way God made things. He gives us a certain amount of time. He's setting us aside, and at some time in the future, He will resurrect us. The second word, here's a number, another Greek number. I don't even know what the Greek word was because I didn't research that. I didn't think it was all that relevant as far as going back to the Greek is concerned, but this is Greek number 4151. It says this word, pushke, needs to be differentiated. Strong's Concordance is saying this. Needs to be differentiated from word G4151, which it says is the rational and immortal soul. Now, I would say that reflects a mistake in Strong's Concordance, but there is a spirit in man, and when you die, that spirit is taken by God and retained until such time as you will be resurrected from the dead. There is an essence about you that is a spirit that God retains and will put back into you at some time in the future. That's this word. This is the second word that is translated at sometimes in the Bible into the word soul. So there's one word which is just the breath of life. Here's another word which is about what you really are, which God is going to retain. And not just for you and I, but for all of mankind. He takes that, sets it aside, and there will be a resurrection of the dead. A second resurrection. There will be a first resurrection, and those of us who are here will be in that first resurrection. But God is still retaining for the rest of all mankind who have ever lived that essence as well, which He will put into them again at the second resurrection. So that's the second word, which is translated in the Bible into the word soul. The third word, here's another number, all twos. G2222. Deuces are wild, we used to say when you'd see the baseball scoreboard with twos all up on it, deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, the score 2-2. You know, second inning. Now this one's really quite different. It is mere vitality. It is life. It is life. This word that's translated as soul is life, according to Strong's, but the kind of life that even plants have. And so even the kind of life that plants have is sometimes translated into the word soul. Kind of interesting, though. You have those 3 different things which relate to the word soul. So what we would say is there are 3 different words in the Greek, because this is all prefaced by the letter G, which have to do with soul. I didn't go into the Old Testament and look at that, but in the New Testament there are 3 words which are translated into the word soul. One is the breath of life, physical life, which we all share. Some of us might think of the scripture that says 70 years. Well, I'm already past that. If by reason of strength it says 80, well, I'm 73. I don't know if I'll make it to 80 or not, but that's what the breath of life is. That's the first word that's translated into soul. The second word has to do with the essence that we have, which God retains and will put back into us after our death at the resurrection, either the first resurrection or the second resurrection. Third word translated into soul is just vitality, means just vitality in the Greek, which could relate even to plants. So 3 different words in Greek. Whenever you read a scripture, you're going to have to think about those 3 different words if the word soul is used. And you're going to have to try and determine from the context which word is being used. What is the meaning that's being talked about there? Because if you just put all of these things in terms of the concept of the world, the immortal soul, then we can be led very much astray, as most of the world has been in regard to that. For this particular verse of Scripture, since the sermon is about patience, Luke 21 and verse 19, in your patience possess you the breath of life, physical life.